The NFL's most electrifying transformation starts right here. This isn't just another season. This is the Chicago Bears revolution. Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, 3 talents, 1 mission. Meet Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner whose arm strength and playmaking ability will leave the defenders in the dust. On the outside, we've got Rome Odunze, the wide receiver that has hands of glue and the speed to burn. We've got also DJ Moore, our secret weapon, with his uncanny ability to create separation. We're stepping in the spotlight, leading this remarkable trio and taking over the team. This isn't just a season, it's the beginning of a dynasty. Watch as this former Heisman winner, a dynamic receiver, and a veteran leader combine to create something Chicago hasn't seen in decades, a true offensive powerhouse. The Bears are coming, and nothing will stop us. Da Bears. So let's dive into this. Chicago Bears, we are taking them over. Now, when I tell you the sky is the limit for this team, I mean the sky is the limit. Number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams. Did he have the year that we all thought he was going to have? No. Was it completely his fault? No. It was the coaches.
It was the coaches!
And with that, I fully believe in him. And I know this. For the next 4 years, minimum, we have the cheap contract of a rookie quarterback. That's the benefit of going with a quarterback, especially in the first round of the draft, is now you have all the money in the world to build around the team. Now, this team has some holes. This offensive line had Caleb running for his life the entire year. The defense was not what we thought it would be. Montez Sweat did not play to the ability we thought he was, but that's okay because we have a lot of money. Look at that, $99.4 million in salary cap room. The only downside is we have 27 players about to hit free agency. We have to get better. So let's take a dive in here. Let's look. Who all are we thinking about bringing back? Now, Tevin Jenkins, I like Jenkins, but $15 million a year for a 27-year-old, that's tough. I don't know if we can bring him back at that number. Now, say he goes to free agency. Will we try to re-sign him then? It's possible. Is he worth a franchise tag? I find that hard to believe. We do have to get better at the offensive line, but there are some draft picks we can go get. Will Campbell jumps off the page of somebody we could get first round to take his spot. Keenan Allen, 78 overall, 33 years old. It's just time for him to go. We can find somebody for cheaper and honestly, probably better. Jacob Martin's going. Darrell Taylor, he's going. Jalen Jones, gone. Jack Sanborn, adios. Colin Johnson, see ya. Daniel Hardy, all of these players. I don't want to bring any of these people back. Nobody here is going to make us better. Although bringing him back, I feel like would be nice. But long snappers don't matter in this league. So $99 million. Let's see if we can free up a little bit of salary cap. I don't think we need to, but I'm sure there's some people on here just taking home free paychecks. So we're going to get rid of those. We are taking over the Chicago Bears. So let's see. Anybody that jumps off the bat of savings we could take. 10.1. No, we're going to keep Edmonds. Keep Edwards. Walker right off the jump. We can find better. 5.25 off the books. That's an easy decision. And the other one that I saw right off was Ryan Bates. Adios, amigo. Gone. Look at this team. All right, so let's go through it real quick. Caleb Williams, 3 more years minimum at a cheap contract. Running back, DeAndre Swift. He didn't have the greatest year. Let's be honest. He didn't have the greatest year. But with a $16.3 million penalty if we cut him, he's going to be playing for us next year. Now, maybe we get somebody else in the draft to compete with him, but we have to keep him. Wide receivers, we've got DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, stud receivers. We have our receiving core set for the foreseeable future. Cole Kmet, 3 more years left at a reasonable deal. We're good there. Braxton Jones is a solid player. 1 more year left. We're going to need center. We're going to need right guard. We just need interior offensive linemen. We're going to have to reshape this entire line. Darnell Wright is probably our best player. He's the guy that we're going to have to believe in because at this moment, he's all we can. Montez Sweat, stud, but he is so expensive, and he's 28 years old, 81 overall. I think his potential is pretty much max in this game. I don't think he's going to get any better. Jacob Martin's gone. Okay, so Booker, we're going to need defensive end. We're going to need one. Now Dexter, stud. Went University of Florida. We're gonna keep him. We're gonna build with him. Billings, Pickens. I mean, not great. We need so much help. We have no left outside linebackers. Interesting. Tremaine Edmonds, stud, tall receiver, tall middle linebacker, fast, expensive, but we can work with it. TJ Edwards, he's getting a little long in the tooth. 29 years old. We don't have much longer. Noah Sewell, if only you were your big brother, we would be so much happier. But anyways, now corners on this team. Corners, I like it. We have a pretty good cornerback duo. We have Jalen Johnson, we got Kyler Gordon, and Tyreek Stevenson. That's a solid trio of corners. Kevin Byard, great performer on the field, but he's 32 years old. He's regressing quickly. I think he was an 85 before this. Good player, but we're going to have to replace him at some point. 1.5 in savings. We're not going to get rid of him. Jaquan Brisker is a stud, but he's only got 1 year left. So safeties is maybe something we're going to have to look into. Hicks making 1.1. We don't need him. I don't know what we're supposed to do with him. 25 years old. Oh, but he's so young. Yeah, well, he's gone now. Too late. Santos, 3 years left. Decent, okay, money. Torrey Taylor. Okay. Solid roster. There's a lot of holes. Now, let's go look. Let's take a look real quick at Tevin Jenkins. Now, $15 million. That's tough. Maybe like a 1 year. I know he's not going to take this, but I just want to see how much it would be to franchise tag him. Like a 1 for 13 deal. It would be 21.5. Nope. We're not doing it. Okay. So we're moving on. Let's go to free agency. Let's see if we can get some players. We have $110 million right now. We just need to put pieces around the young quarterback. Dude's got an arm. Dude can move. Dude was called a knockoff Patrick Mahomes for a reason. And that's a compliment. That's not even a bad thing. That's a compliment. So let's dive in here. There's got to be some people that just want to take our money. And it's not a great start. Trent Brown would be a solid short-term option. Wagner's old. Mack, no. We could always bring him back, but Simmons, see. So maybe Jenkins will be the guy we have to bring back. And I'm okay with it. Dobbins, Bynum, Cooper, Hopkins. A lot of old, not great players. Chase Young would be interesting. I'd like to bring him in on a short-term, maybe even a long-term deal. So quarterback, we're good. Halfback. Dobbins is cool. We don't really need running back. Nobody really is out here jumping off the page. Receiver, we could bring in a third receiver, but nothing that is jumping to me at this moment. Rondo Moore is always an interesting piece, but I'm not paying $9.15 million. Again, receiver, nothing's really jumping off. Tight ends, we're good for now. Bakhtiar is interesting, but he's old. We have to build a young team with this young quarterback. There's no point in getting a bunch of old guys that are just going to regress in a couple of years while Caleb Williams is getting better. Now Jenkins, again, he clearly doesn't want to play for us. It was never really going to be a fit. But if we offered maybe even like a 3-year deal, he just doesn't want it. And really, I'm not even mad. I'm not mad at it. We could bring somebody back much cheaper to play left guard. Ryan Kelly would be interesting for a year or two. I'd be more than okay giving him a short-term kind of deal. Maybe like a 1 year. Because we got money to burn. We don't have to be frugal, especially with 1 year deals. We can kind of throw a little bag at them. And we're not even close. All right, so maybe a 2 year. Let's just see if he wants a 2 year. If he doesn't take it, that's okay. But it's something at least we can throw out there. Will Hernandez, James Daniels. I don't hate these. You know, Mekhi Becton, whatever his last name is, or first name, Mekhi. He'd be a good player too. He's big. He's physical. But I don't know how much money he won. 9.3. I mean, I'll throw him a short-term deal, but that's a bit much. I'm okay if he doesn't want to take it, which I'm sure he won't. Trent Brown. I mean, I'm not paying $21 million for that guy. I'm just not doing it. I'd much rather I'd much rather build through the draft. That's the way we're gonna have to go about it. Again, left in, nobody. D tackle. There's just not a lot here. Not a lot here. Oh, Chase Young. I would be willing to throw him a little money. I'd give him like a 4-year deal. We could have just the Washington Commanders defensive ends as our players for no reason. I don't even know why we would do that, but we could. Outside linebacker, we don't have anybody. Bush is a nice little fast receiver or fast outside linebacker. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate it. Middle linebacker, nobody really there. It jumps off. Right outside linebacker, Khalil Mack. Doesn't really jump off the page. I don't even know where we would put him. If we're going to run a 4-3, we're going to have Sweat at the end. You know what? We could throw him a 1-year deal. I don't think he'll take it. I don't think he should take it. But I'll throw him a 1-year deal. We're ranked 3rd. That's okay. Corners. I think we're good with corners. I don't really see anybody that I would love to have here. Maybe Christian Fulton, but he's already got an offer in. Don't really care. Justin Simmons. It's not going to really move the needle for us. And strong safety. No, I don't really see anybody. I think we're good. I think we can throw those offers in. And maybe even possibly throw a little more cash at somebody if we wanted to. I'm not worried about it. All right, so we're back in. Let's see if we signed anybody. And that, folks, is not the page not loaded correctly. That is because nobody signed here. Not one person signed here. That's unbelievable. You know, the bad thing about having $110 million is not everybody is going to want to take it. We can look back in here because we've got a lot of money, but nobody wants it. That's a problem. Now, year 2, when Caleb Williams throws for 50 touchdowns, the market will be different, and everybody will want to be a Chicago Bear. But we're not there yet, and that's okay. That's okay. So we're going to look back in here and see if anybody wants to come. So, 1 year, Keenan Allen. We could throw it. He may not take that, but just getting somebody in the door. We need some blockers. Somebody that could play on the offensive line. Somebody maybe could kick in for just a year. Right tackle, right guard. Okay, I could throw a little something at a 1-year deal for one of these guys. Especially if we go get a young guy in the draft. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it because this team needs to get a little younger. So again, nobody's really jumping off the page here. I kind of want to just move to the draft. There's just not a lot here. And then for the case of the Chicago Bears, imagine if you were the GM and you went to the fan base after and you said, well, guys, we signed 2 guys and they're both 35 years old. Do you think that person would be the GM much longer? I don't think so. I really don't think so. So I'm not going to be a disgrace to the fan base, and I'm not going to mess with their intelligence by signing some over-the-hill guys just because I can. I would never sign anybody, especially not like a 35-year-old dude. That would just be ridiculous. But sometimes when push comes to shove, you got to have somebody just to fill the roster. Now, do I want to go with a Will Hernandez, 29 years old, for 10.5? No, I really don't. So I'm going to throw Brandon Sheriff, 1-year deal. And maybe we can even save a little cash. Not throwing too much money. Just like a little 1 for 8. Come in, mentor the players, because we're going to bring some young guys in so he can be the coach. He'll be a player coach. Center, again, the same thing. Nothing really. You know what? Let's just throw some money at a young guy just as insurance. Maybe he won't come and play for us. Or maybe he won't play at all. But just somebody who could back us up and be an emergency center for us. And again, with that, we're going to skip to the next week and see if we can get any of these guys. All right, so we had to have a quick change of plans. Brandon Scherf, we had to throw him a little extra cash than I really wanted to, but with that much money, it was burning a hole in my pocket. I had to throw it away. We gave Josh Uche a cheap 3-year deal. Just something. We needed some players. Even if he is just a off the bench defensive end, he's not even that bad of a contract. 3 years, less than $4 million. That's not a bad deal. And with that, we're going to go into the draft. We are going to go into the draft. I'm not wasting any more time. All right, so here I am wasting a little bit more of my time. We need to scout a couple of these players. We have 3 private workouts we can send out now. Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks jump off the page right away. People that we could be selecting in that kind of a time frame. Mykel Williams is another guy right there. Now looking at this, we're not going to be able to get any of the top talents. These quarterbacks hopefully go before we pick, because that'll kind of push some of the talented players down the board. But with guys like Campbell, Banks, and Williams kind of in our area, those seem like the best options. You know, in terms of offensive linemen, Campbell, Banks, some of these guys down the board would be nice for us. Tyler Booker would be a great one. Mbu is a stud. Donovan Jackson's a great player. Couple of centers. I like McLaughlin. I like Wilson. Oh, right guards. We've got some players to pick from. A lot of tackles, a lot of offensive linemen. I think the second round will be covered in talent. So with that, we're going to go with those 3 players. So here we are. Pick 1. Tennessee Titans are on the board. It is time. This is where generations have changed. This is where football teams change the trajectory of their franchise. Now we're going to watch the first couple of picks. We pick at pick 10. Now we could trade up, but I don't think it'd be worth it. Unless some big piece falls to maybe 7 or 8, don't think it's worth it. If anything, we could maybe even trade back just to get a little more, a little extra something on top, just to sweeten the pot. So pick 1 is Travis Hunter. No quarterback for the Titans is wild. Pick 2 is Shadur Sanders to the Browns. Pick 3 is Mykel Williams. There he goes again. So here we are, pick 10. Now looking at the players that were taken, there goes Will Campbell, who would have been perfect for us. But that means that there's got to be somebody here that possibly fell to us. Mason Graham, the stud defensive tackle, is still there. Kelvin Banks Jr. is still here. Now, part of me looks at Kelvin Banks and says he is the perfect fit for us. But the other part of me is saying that when a player of Mason Graham's caliber falls to you, you don't pass on that. You don't pass on that. This guy could take this defense to another level. Now, before I take that, I do want to look to see if anybody maybe sent a trade offer that we could look at. And we pick a 10, so I don't want to move down more than a couple of spots if we even receive anything. And with a trade offer like that, I think we're going to have to stick at 10 because that's ridiculous. Okay, so with that, I mean, call me crazy. Call me crazy. I mean, Mason Graham falls to you. Is offensive line really at the top of your mind? I mean, honestly, how do you pass on a player like that? Top 5 projected talent at pick 10. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mason Graham to the Chicago Bears, the newest player in the organization. Oh man, come across. Some people just go to the Chicago Bears. They just have the look to them. Mason Graham fits that picture to a T. Number 7 true value. Took him at 10. Hidden development, 93 strength, 71 speed, 76 excel. All right, so we're here at pick 40, and I'm looking at these offensive line players. When you're at this part of the draft, these are the pieces in the second round that are going to be the depth of your team. These are going to be the most important positions that you put out there. We have to rebuild this offensive line, and right off the jump, Josh Connolly Jr. is the guy that's jumping off. He's the highest ranked lineman. You could slide him into right guard for a year. I would love to take Donovan Jackson as well. But right now, I think we just have to take Connolly. We've got to build. And plus, we have a pick literally in 2 picks. So it's almost a back-to-back pick. And a guy like this is just the kind of player we need to protect our asset. We've got to protect him. 107 in true value, draft him at 40. But he is a hidden depth, so that doesn't matter. My goodness, I was about to throw it out to the streets. But that's okay, because, ladies and gentlemen, we have our newest offensive lineman. And with that, we are protecting our diamond. All right, so we're back with 42. A running back doesn't sound like the worst option. But we have Swift. It's kind of a do we really need that position? No, probably not. Looking at these players, we could go in Bo. But something about Donovan Jackson is just screaming all-pro left guard. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Something about him just screams success. Just screams playoffs. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a sickness that I have in my mind right now, but it's something that I'm kind of thinking might be the way to go. I think we're going to do it. Sometimes in life you have to take risk, and in risk you mess up because you take the 103rd ranked player. But again, he's a hidden development. It does not matter what he starts out with. It just matters how he finishes. Because guess what? We have Ben Johnson. We have one of the brightest minds in the game. We have the future best coach of the year, I'm predicting it. And guess what? He's going to teach these players. He's going to train them. He's going to say, this is a reach block. This is when you need to go around the loop. Inside leverage, outside leverage, doesn't matter. Players like that, he will turn into all pros. I guarantee it. So round 3, we've still got some good players to choose from. Chris Paul Jr. is a great guy. Dylan Fairchild, we could maybe even slide him into center. I don't hate it. We could teach him. Grant as well from William and Mary. Didn't know that was a real school. I mean, there's still some players on the board we can get. Derek Carter's a great linebacker we could look at. Andrew Maguba. I think we're going to pass on David Walker's a good pass rusher. Isaiah Bond, we could even add some speed at the receiver room. Now, he has awful intangibles, but I'm going to guess his 40 time is crazy, as it is, a 4.3. Giving a speed guy to Caleb Williams sounds like a great idea. But again, we are building the offensive line. We are taking Dylan Fairchild. We are moving him into center. And with that, he's coming across the board. He's been waiting 2 days. He's been sitting in that green room. They won't take him off the TV. He's sick of it. And guess what? He is now a Chicago Bear. Again, bad, awful pick. Why did you make that pick? These are good questions that I don't have answers to. But also, why is he sitting there? Wow. All right. So here we are in the 5th round. We did not have a 4th round pick, and that is okay. But we need a couple more players. Nick Nash is another receiver we could possibly get. Just looking at some of the players, though, who on here wants to be here for the long haul? So here in the 5th round, we're going to take a shot in the dark. We're just going to go and get the fastest linebacker available. Is he any good? I'm going to guess probably not. But is he fast? Yes. 219 in true value. Drafted him there. 90 speed, 89 acceleration. In the 5th round, we're just taking shots. These are basically special teamers. That doesn't matter. These players are going to run on punt and kickoff return. They're going to stop people. We just need fast guys to get out there. So we're going to send the rest of the draft and see how we did. All right, so draft recap. Let's see how we did. Let's take a look at this. All right, 77 overall Mason Graham right off the jump is an absolute stud. 70 overall Connerly. 70 overall Jackson. 68 Fairchild. Ooh, look at the corner. Riley, 70 overall that the CPU picked up. Maybe sometimes I should just let the CPU pick because they seem to do better than me sometimes. But I tell you this, you see 70 overall, don't look at it in that way. Because in 2 years, when he's a 94 overall and he's standing on the stage holding that Lombardi trophy, it'll all be worth it. It'll all make sense. Because right now, it's all about the development. It's about the coaching. Putting these players in the right situations to win not only their matchup, but to win against their opponent, and watch as these people grow. I tell you this, don't judge me by my wins. Judge me by my losses. because you're not going to find any. And I'm telling you, with these players, I'm going to prove to you why. All right, it's preseason week 1. Let's go ahead and set this lineup. Let's set this team up for the future. We got to get these people in the game. We got to get the young ones in. I don't want these old players. So Swift is going to be starting there. Everett could be the fullback receiver. We're going to go more into Dunze with Tyler Scott, the young receiver out of Cincinnati, as our slot guy. Cole Kmet would be the tight end. Braxton Jones, left tackle. Now, this is where we're going to switch it up. I know it's going to be a little confusing, but he's here to mentor the players. I know we gave him all that money, but we tricked him. We lied to him. We wanted him in the building simply for his coaching. Now, I know he's a little bit better right now, but we're going to get Donovan Jackson to develop quickly. Fairchild will be the center. We're going to slide Connerly into the right guard slot, who could eventually maybe even go to right tackle in a couple of years after Darnell's done. Sweat's going to be our left end. We're not going to have Booker be our right end. We're going to have the newly signed Josh Uche as our right end. Defensive tackle, we're going to have Mason Graham step in, and we're going to switch him up. And we're going to start him actually over Dexter. I like Dexter, but Graham has a much higher ceiling. Edwards, no, we're gonna put the young kid in a left outside. Edmonds, we're gonna slide in Sewell right here as the backup, and then Sewell again. No, we're gonna put Edmonds and Edwards. We're gonna have Johnson. We're gonna have Kyler Gordon, Stevenson right there. We're gonna put the young guy right in there, and we're gonna be good there. Free safety, we're gonna have Byard. Then we're gonna have Brisker there, kicker Santos, kick return. We're gonna have the young pup. He's gonna be our main kick returner. Punt returner again is gonna be Riley. Kickoff specialist, yep. Long snapper, no. We're gonna put Fairchild in. Third down's gonna be Swift. Power is gonna also be Swift. Slot. I don't hate that. Dunze is the slot. You know what? We're gonna leave him in at that spot. Sweat at left end. Right end again is going to be Uche. Defensive tackle, we're going to slide in Graham, and he is going to be our main D tackle. At sub, we're going to have Edmonds, Edwards, and of course Asante. Slot, I don't mind. We'll have Kyler Gordon there. And we're set. We're set up for success. Let's get this team to the regular season. So here we are, week 1. We can set our season goal. That's a tough one. I feel like this team is young and up and coming. Do I think we're immediately going to be Super Bowl contenders, though? No. Do I think we could make the playoffs? Possibly. If we can get Caleb Williams to grow quick, we could possibly get him to the playoffs. But it's going to be a long one. It's going to be a long road. This team is not exactly Super Bowl caliber at the moment. They're still young. They're going to grow. They're going to go fast. But we still got a little bit of work to do. So we got a couple of players we can upgrade already. That's great for week 1. Cole Kmet, he'll become an 83 vertical threat. I see Mason Graham already has another upgrade. I feel like he's going to grow fast. He may be the player of the year. At least the rookie of the year. Let me not get a little too far ahead of myself. 21 years old too. He's going to grow so fast with a low XP bar. He may be a superstar by the end of the year. So with that, we're going to get to week 3. We're going to see who we have to resign. All right, so here we are, week 3. And you're reading that right. We are 2-0 to start the season now. We are 2-0 beating the Browns and the Saints. 2 of the best teams in the NFL. But that's okay, because 2-0 is a great start. We've already got a DB breakout. Let's take a look at who this is. Please be one of our young corners. Please. And just like that, it's Jalen Johnson. 5 tackles, 2 for loss. Didn't mean to hit that, but that's good because that means we are playing lights out right now. So with that, let's see. Weakness strategy, actually. Let's not jump the gun. But I do want to see who we can re-sign. Because this is the time of the year where we got to get these guys under contract. Because at the end, if they develop or they get better, they're just going to get more and more expensive. I mean, look at Cincinnati. They could have signed T. Higgins and especially Jamar Chase for a lot cheaper. But they wait until the very last minute, and now they're going to pay top of the market value. We're not going to do that. We're going to get our players under contract for cheap for a long time, sign them to a cheaper deal, and then they become absolute monsters. So ready to negotiate. We've got 11 we could talk to right now. 115 million still left. Brisker, I would love to bring him back. Kyler Gordon, I would love to bring him back, especially for 7.5 a year. 7.4, I can do a little bit of math. Braxton Jones is a solid player. I wouldn't mind bringing back. TJ Edwards, we might let go to free agency. I mean, $10 million a year for a guy that's about to be 30 years old. I don't know if we want to do that. Byard's going to go. Everett's going to go. Robinson's going to go. Owens is going to go. Tyson Badgen's going to go. Billings is going to go. We are going to accept that option on Darnell Wright when we can, but I mean, that's not even a bad contract for Brisker. I'd even throw him a 5-year deal. See if we can lock him in. Boom, 5 years onto the contract. Kyler Gordon is, again, not another bad contract. For 2 years, I'd even give him a 4-year deal at that. Oh, he didn't accept that? That's crazy. Why would you ask me for that much money? And then not accept it? Probably because he does not want to re-sign here. I mean, I understand it. We haven't exactly won ball games, but maybe around the midseason mark, when we're undefeated, then maybe his interest will shoot up. Now for 7 a year, I don't mind giving him that. Even if we eventually have to kick him inside or something, that's not a bad contract. And again, I think with these players that just have no re-sign interest in us, we're just going to have to throw a little more money than we want to. Now, do we want to? That's the question. That I don't know. But anyways, we're going to send him to the end of the year. We're going to see how Caleb Williams does in his 2nd year with the Chicago Bears. All right, so year 1 of the rebuild is officially in the books. The Chicago Bears unfortunately missed the playoffs, but they did improve to a 7-10 record. It's not exactly the year we envisioned, but it's a great building block, at least, to build for the future. Now, let's see. They had the 22nd ranked offense and 27th ranked defense, so still just not a very good year. Let's see any awards that were maybe won. I'm going to go ahead and doubt that based off of the record. So nobody for MVP, nobody for Coach of the Year. Shocker, shocker. Offensive Player of the Year, nothing. Edwards finished 8th place in Defensive Player of the Year. Nothing for Offensive Rookie. Defensive Rookie finished 7th. Nothing for quarterback. So just not a great Adunze and finish in 8th place. Offensive line, nope. Okay, so just not a very productive year, but it's building. Let's take a look at the individual stats. So Caleb Williams threw for 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Still just cannot break that Bears curse of the elusive 4,000 passing yards. Now, he was sacked 39 times, so maybe he didn't have a lot of time to throw the ball. DeAndre Swift finished with 866 and 8 with a 3.8 average. Might be time to start talking about replacing him with somebody a little bit better. DJ Moore hit the 1,000-yard mark, as did Adunze with 15 touchdowns. Scott finished with 607, and Kmet only finished with 2 touchdowns on the year. Now blocking, Braxton gave up 14 sacks. That's a bit of an issue. 116 tackles for Edmonds. Sacks 4.5 led the team with Montez Sweat. My goodness, that has to be one of the lowest sack totals in NFL history. I mean, look at this. How in the world does that even happen? Interceptions. Johnson and Byard topped it with 4. Edwards, Gordon, and Brisker with 3. And Jonathan Owens finished with 2. Kicking 81%. And just overall, not a very productive year. But again, it is the first year in the rebuild. Again, there will be more money for year 2. Now, looking at the updated lineup, let's see if maybe anybody developed at all. Again, nothing, not one superstar on this team. DJ Moore star, Swift star, Adunze star, Caleb Williams star. That's a problem. We're going to have to add some juice to this team because this is just not going to help. No superstars on offense is crazy. Only one on defense and Johnson. Everybody else did not move. That's not a great start. But again, there's going to be even more money that can be spent. And hopefully the free agents are a little bit better in year 2. So that's it for year 1. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the comments how you think year 2 will do in an absolute train wreck of a first season. But thanks for watching.